Guys, I'm just gonna get ripping. I know that this is the skill that if you guys can develop, when life is coming that way, it's just coming at you. Like I woke up today, man. I mean, one of my sons spilled stuff all over the kitchen. My wife's got OCD, so like she's freaking out on that. I got like 3 meetings coming up I'm trying to prepare for, and all of this stuff is just happening, right? Like, have you guys ever felt that? Like you got a big day ahead of you and then the day just comes for you? All right, I want to teach you the most special skill that you can have as a family leader, as a man, as a woman, as a professional, as a salesperson. The person that can have a routine around staying grateful, they're unstoppable. Guys, I think that Andy's #1 quality is I've never seen him have a bad day. Okay? He's like a level 13 of what I'm going to show you today. But the power of perspective really will shift your mindset. Guys, like, if you can be grateful, you can take that into your life. A lot of us are focusing on what we don't have. Like what we don't have. Man, my business should be here. Man, my life should be here. Man, my relationship should be here. Man, I should be doing this. Listen, guys, I'm going to walk you through some things that are going to have your heart on fire. Guys, have you ever felt the power of like being like, have you ever been like driving down the road and you remember like a moment when you were a kid, like going to the zoo or something, and you feel like, oh man, that was so special. I didn't even have all these thoughts of everything else. I was just thinking about like that one moment, right? Like, like anybody ever have kids, your baby's born, you're holding that baby and like nothing else matters. You're like, oh my gosh. Anybody felt the power of Jesus come into a church and they're saying something and that message is for you and you're like, oh my gosh. Anybody ever feel that overwhelming gratitude come through their bones and through their life? Man, there's moments in my life that if I could just harness that little gratitude, if I could just harness that little power and put it into my life every day, I'd be much better. Now, I've become very, very good at this. Even today as the chaos was coming through, I was able to get my family together and go through this exercise. And if you can go through what I'm going to show you, it's going to make you a better leader. It's going to make you a better human. It's going to make you love yourself more. So honestly, you guys don't have to train with me after today because today's the most important training you're ever going to hear. Okay? All right? So I know I always say that because they all go together. But step 1, man, I want to teach you to acknowledge what you're thankful for. Like, this may sound vanilla, but step 1 of gratitude is shifting that mindset to not what you don't have, but what you do have. What you do have. There's a guy named Nick Vujicic. I think it's Vujicic. This guy he had a relatively normal life. He was going through life, and then he had a freak accident. And imagine you having a freak accident right now and having no legs and no arms. Imagine. Imagine waking up and having no legs, no arms. How would you feel? You feel pretty messed up, right? This guy's superpower is when he woke up out of that freak accident, what he was able to do was he was able to stay grateful. He was like, man, I just really feel like when you're hearing him speak, you know what he's talking about? He's like, man, I'm not worried about any of this. He's like, God gave me this. God gave me these problems so I could go affect millions of people. He gave me this so I could go impact millions of people. The way you look at your challenges, the way you look at your problems, the way you're like, this is a problem. You label it as a problem, it becomes a problem. This guy chose to start his day. He chooses to start his day with gratitude and say, man, Jesus, I want to talk to you. Thank you for what I'm about to face today. Thank you for all of these things that I have today. Thank you for all of the things that you put on my plate today. Thank you. Thank you. I want to encourage you guys to write this down and actually do it. Before my day starts, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning because I go to the gym at 5 and it allows me 30 minutes to eat. But before I get out of bed, for 10 minutes, I have a meeting with myself and God. And I literally just sit there and I just say, man, no matter what happens today, I want to tell you that I know everything that you're giving me. I have a choice of perspective. I have a choice to see whatever I want. I have a choice to grow. I have a choice. I have a choice. I have a choice. Guys, everything is a choice, is it not? Okay, so here's a little tactic. Close your eyes and visualize everything that you currently have. Not that you want, not your dreams, but what you currently have, man. I got my health. I got a roof over my head. Man, some of you, like that are older, at one point in time, you just wanted to have a roof like your house that you have now. You guys remember when you were like 18 living at your mom's house? Some of you guys are young, like Austin, you're really young. Well, you go get that first apartment. Anybody get their first apartment, they're like, yeah, I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'm going to get all this other stuff. And then like you're like just super fired up on it because you have your first place. You guys remember that? You're like, yes. You got to be able to have that same outlook on your cup. You got to be able to be like, man, like I may not have everything that I'm looking for, but I got everything that I need. I got everything that I need, man. Like, I got this roof over my head. I got electricity. I got running water. Guys, you know how many people just don't even have running water? You know how many people don't have the internet? You guys know? So, guys like Nick, in the power, number one is the power of perspective. Start your day with total gratitude. Start your day with this feeling in your heart that, man, you get the choice of what everything is. You get the choice of what you see and what you don't. You get the 100% choice. Visualize things, man. I'm going to read this to you. Close your eyes and picture yourself waking up, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face. Imagine the things that you have, your health, your family, your small joys, your hot cup of coffee. The gratitude becomes the fuel that ignites your day and shifts your entire mindset. Okay? Since I'm a very obsessed person, what do we obsessed people do? We wake up and we go. That's not what you want to do, man. That's not what you want to do. I wake up now, I have that meeting with myself and Jesus, and I literally sit there and pray, and I literally sit there and I'm thankful. You can do whatever you want. I drink 1 cup of 24 ounce of water, so that's a lot of water for me, because your brain is hydrated, your body's been fasting while you're sleeping, so that gets me thinking. And then I go out there on my patio, and I just sit there, man. And I start to just feel the gratitude. I start to just be like, man, you're doing some really special things. Man, I remember when I wasn't doing a whole lot of special things, but I still carried that gratitude in my life because I carried that into my sales. I carried that into my leadership. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Write that down. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. That right there is powerful to me, man. Because right now you truly have enough. Everything else that you get is a bonus, man. Like, are you alive? Anybody know anybody that's died recently? Okay. Anybody have somebody who died recently close to them? Anybody give everything to have them back? Anybody get really emotional when you think about that? Can you get emotional about having your life today? Can you get emotional and get in happy mode that you got a chance today, man? That person doesn't get another chance today. But you actually get another chance today, man. You get a chance to just do whatever you want today, man. Just slow down a little bit. Number 2, transform adversity into fuel, man. Anybody heard of the story of Inky Johnson? Inky Johnson. He's a football player. He's a top recruit, man. He comes from the city, man. This guy's just fighting hard, man. He's literally going to be the first person that makes it out in his family. He's the number 1 cornerback recruit. He's crushing it. He's growing. I mean, everybody wants this guy. He's going to be on Alabama or Tennessee, one of the two. And his homecoming football game, he makes a tackle, and he falls over, and he falls asleep. They rush him to the hospital, and he almost dies. And in order to save his life, they had to cut his arm off. He went for 20 years envisioning being an NFL athlete. Imagine that, like, everything you're imagining now, you're one step away from getting it. And then somebody just takes it, then it's just taken fully away from you. What would you do? Would you face it and be like, oh man, poor me, wham, wham, wham? You know, number 2 is transform your adversity into fuel. Inky took that story and he made it his fuel to show people that he couldn't be stopped. He made it his fuel to envision that he could face the toughest challenges and get through them. Imagine yourself facing your toughest challenge right now. Whatever it is, your toughest challenge. And instead of seeing a roadblock, picture it as a stepping stone. Picture that. Listen, man, he went through this surgery. He woke up with no arm. He can't be a cornerback anymore. And instead of picturing this adversity as a roadblock, I can't go to the NFL anymore, he said, man, this is going to give me a chance to impact millions. This is going to give me a chance. How do I look at this roadblock right now? How do you look at a roadblock right now in your life? How do you look at it? Maybe you're one of the people who raised their hand and said, I lost somebody recently. What do you look at that like? I get sad thinking about the people that I lost, but you know what? I look at it like, man, I'm going to use that to I'm going to act like those people are with me every day, and I'm going to show them the gratitude. I'm going to show them that I can become somebody. I'm going to show them that I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to show them that I can stay grateful. I'm going to show them that I'm not going to fall apart. Inky took his story and he impacted millions. I want you to read this quote. The struggle ends when the gratitude begins. Whatever you're going through, man, whatever you're going through, you have to understand that it's life. See, I think a lot of you think that you get to a certain level and you stop experiencing torture, or you stop experiencing demons, or you see, what you do is you just learn to fight them better. The devil, you know what the devil's after? You know what the number one thing he's after, right? He wants you to be sad. He wants you to be mad. He wants you to be miserable. He's after your joy. Your joy is your strength. Guys, if you're happy with where you are, listen, man, I admire my grandfather so much. My grandfather opened 2 schools. My grandfather never made a lot of money. My grandfather would be the best teacher on social media in the history of social media today if he was alive. He was the best teacher I've ever seen. And anybody who ever came in contact with him will tell you the same thing. I rep him everywhere I go, in everything I do. I hope to be a quarter of the teacher he is one day. But my grandfather didn't do things for money. But my grandfather, when you got around him, my grandfather was on fire. My grandfather lost 2 kids. One of his sons was killed. The wife, his wife had an ex-boyfriend. They just had, well, let me go back. His wife and him had a baby, and the ex-boyfriend was jealous. The ex-boyfriend broke in. My uncle's 6'7", really good-looking dude, man, bodybuilder, sharp as a tack. You know, my grandfather invested a lot of money and time into that kid, and he was taken from us. Shot 7 times, killed him. My other uncle, 6'6", great-looking dude. My grandfather's, taught them everything. My mom's the older one. He's in an ambulance. He's rushing somebody to the hospital. He's the driver. He's a paramedic and a fireman. And somebody comes to a red light, kills him. Just like that. One day he's going to work. The next day he's dead. One day he's getting ready for work. The next day he's dead. That's how life happens, man. But you know what? As hard as that is, never saw my grandpa break, man. Never saw my grandpa break. I saw him struggle, but you know what my grandpa used to say? My grandpa used to say, man, God gave me you two for them. You two are here. You two are my angels, me and my brother, because I lost them. But I have them with me every day. And for some reason, my grandfather was able to take those stories and help transform the world. He was able to take the hardest things that happened to him, and he was able to turn them into fuel to change others, to help others, to just be a good person. You guys ever get around somebody that has just total gratitude, and you just want to be around them at all times? Have you guys ever been around anybody like that? Guys, I might be like that like 60% of the time. The other 40%, I'm like, and I gotta do that with a little bit more of that. You know what I mean? With a little bit more of like, dude, you got it. You're here. Everything is what you have. Let's go back to that quote. What was that quote? Gratitude turns what we have into enough. What we have into enough. You know what I mean? But the struggle ends where the gratitude begins. If you're experiencing pain right now, you're experiencing those demons beating the shit out of you, you're experiencing that devil in your life, that devil in your relationship, that devil in your marriage, the devil with your kids, start having a little bit more gratitude, man. Start having a little bit more fun. Start being a little bit more happy. And you'll see those things go away. Number 3, be present and grateful. Being present is the number one thing that you're going to have in your life. You know what a lot of people say? Time is the most important aspect of life. I agree. Time is very important. But not if you're not present. Not if you're distracted. You know, I see salespeople all the time. They're supposed to be with their customer, but their mind's at home. And the customer's trying to connect with them, but they can't connect. I see a lot of people, they're with their families at dinner, but their mind's at business. They're not ever really where they were. They're in the Christmas photos, but they're not really there. You got to really decide to live. You know, when Andy says be where your feet are, you got to really decide to like be where your feet are. You got to really decide to be with that customer. I had a meeting earlier this morning at 7:30, and I was really vibing with this company. And my assistant walks in, and she's like, and I feel like I'm called to just be doing what I'm doing right here. And she's like, you have another meeting. It's a bigger meeting than this. And she has a sign, and she's telling me, you got to get off this call. This is a big meeting. I said, fuck that meeting. Cancel it. She's like, you can't. And I'm like, I'm here. I'm with them. I'm going. I'm not going to cancel the meeting. I'm just going to keep going with where I'm at. And that could be the right thing or the wrong thing. We might have missed some revenue, but I wanted to be right where I was at. I wanted to be right here with that person. I wanted to be right here in that moment. Okay? Some of you need to put your phone on Do Not Disturb for a long time. The entire day, man. Some of you need to put your phone on. Some of you need to have a meeting with your wife and say, hey, listen, you know, and here's a little relationship tip that works for me. Okay? I have a marriage meeting tonight at 6 o'clock every Friday because I'm not good at this shit. Okay? So I would much rather kill, destroy, war. That doesn't work in a relationship, I've learned. Who knows, man? I just came to find this out because this is my first relationship that's actually worked. Okay? All the other ones have not worked because I've just been running through them. You know what I'm saying? It's them. No, dude, it's you, dude. It's got to be you too, right? So, got a marriage meeting tonight, right? You know, but I also have set up on my calendar 3 times where I text my wife during the day because I say, hey, when I have a lot of meetings, you're going to try to call me, and most of the time I'm not going to answer. If you call me, you got to make sure it's for an emergency. You know what I mean? You got to make sure it's like super serious because my calendar is just totally packed. But if I don't text her during the day, does she not feel important? She doesn't feel important. Okay, so what I do is I set up 9, 12, 2, 4, and I send a little message. A calendar link goes off even if I'm on a Zoom. You'll see me go like this. Boom, 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 text, send, boom. Okay? But be present and grateful, man. Anybody ever heard of Viktor Frankl? No? Okay. He was a Holocaust survivor. That he endured unspeakable suffering in concentration camps. You know, imagine those concentration camps, man. Hearing people die, just getting tortured every day, not fed, all of these different things. Despite everything being stripped away from him, everything. They stripped him away of everything, including their dignity, making him walk around just naked, cold, whipping them, everything, man. Just imagine that. Imagine what that would do to you. Victor wrote a book, and the book's called Man Searching for Meaning. And he realized that no one could take away his ability to choose his attitude. No one. Those guys hated him, and they tried to break him of his good attitude. And they couldn't break him of his good attitude. There's a lot of us, we get broken by the people next to us because they don't have a good attitude, so we don't have a good attitude. Because they're not a good person, then you're not a good person. That's not how we do it, man. Listen, this guy was in the Holocaust, bro. And he could have a good attitude. You telling me that because I got a little negative Sally that's selling 6 cars next to me and they hate this and that, you telling me I'm going to act like them? Come on, man. Guys, can we be a little stronger with our attitude? Attitude is going to determine your altitude. If you have the best attitude, if you got an impeccable attitude and frequency, and man, you're just staying grateful and on fire and having fun and being excited and adding value to people's lives, and everywhere you go, you're adding respect and value. Shit, dude. You're the person that literally is going to be worth everything that you want. You're going to get everything you want. It might just take a little bit of time. And nowadays, we want microwavable success. What does that mean? We want to wake up and be a millionaire, man. Guys, I'll tell you, man. There's people who've done it differently than me. I met a 27-year-old kid the other day that sold his business for $57 million. I'm like, my God. You know, my God, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I'm 34. I haven't made anywhere close to that money. But I really believe I live in my future truth. I really believe that I will. And I'm not crapped out about today that I don't have it. I also coach some billionaires that have the money, and they're the most miserable people you've ever met. I actually fired one the other day because, they have all the money, but they're horrible to be around. And I'll make a couple runs at changing you, but if you're not going to change, then I'll just, because I can't have that coming into my life. But I was talking to this one guy the other day, and he said, man, he just wakes up and he said, problem, problem, problem. He's got a really big company, and he has no way to just take a step back. He has no good habits. He's 150 pounds overweight. His mind is overweight. He lost his marriage. His kids don't talk to him. He had all these close friends. They're gone out of the company. So he's a billionaire, but he's the loneliest guy on the planet. Loneliest guy I've ever met. Most sad guy I've ever met. Guys, honestly, I wouldn't trade who I am right now for that. Okay? I wouldn't trade who I am right now for that. A lot of people say, hey, man, when you're, I heard a guy say that, a multimillionaire the other day, he said, hey, at 40 years old, I'm 40 years old now, and I didn't have any money when I was 30 years old, but at 40 years old, I've got millions of dollars. I would give all those millions of dollars to be 30 years old again. All of it. Okay, guys, we got to back into that. If he's saying, hey, man, at this age, I would give everything to go back and be at this age, just to be able to experience life again at that age, you're right now in the greatest moment of your life, technically. You're right now in the greatest moment of your life. And if you can't believe that, you could have a perspective issue, man. Viktor Frankl didn't have a perspective issue. So if you can't have a good perspective issue, you have a perspective issue, you need to look around and be like, bro, I got to wake the hell up, man. This ain't even that bad, dude. I could be getting freaking whipped and chained and all of these different things, man. We got to really truly feel the power of gratitude. I'm going to read you this quote. When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. Okay? When this guy was going through everything that he was going through, it was amazing that he could stay on that path of the attitude. I just want to challenge you as you go through your day to envision yourself having the attitude, to envision yourself having this unshakable presence. You need to have an unshakable presence as a dad, as a leader, as a person, as a human. You gotta have this. Nobody can embody this for you. When you walk into the room and you're the leader, it's not because you say you're the leader. It's because they can feel in your core that you believe in you and you're doing the work on you. They can feel this unshakable attitude. They can feel this unshakable presence. Mm-hmm. And if you can continuously have that, man, it's crazy how fast you'll rise through life. Number 4, set fire to your passion. Set fire to your passion. Oprah Winfrey, you guys all know her. She grew up in poverty, facing unimaginable hardships and abuse, yet she was always found her gratitude in her ability to read and learn. That's where her gratitude came from. I relate to that, man. When I'm reading and learning, and I'm learning new skills, man, I'm on fire. When I feel like I'm not progressing is when I'm in my head. So you got to feel like you're on fire. And if that's something for you, I want you to set up a habit around that. If you relate to that, I have a habit of reading 10 pages a day. It's not a lot, but it makes me feel like I got a new skill set. I got something new in my arsenal, and that I'm moving towards where I want to go, that I'm moving towards my B. Everybody's at an A. They want to get to a B. That's going to help you identify that gap in your skill set and move to your B. That deep gratitude for knowledge and growth led her to become one of the most successful and influential people in the world. Every day she sets an intention of gratitude. It's crazy how the most successful people in the world are some of the most grateful people in the world. And then there's people who fake gratitude. But you know they're not really that grateful, man. Or they fake the smile, but they're really not happy. Like Robin Williams, man. He ran around saying he was the happiest guy in the world, making a lot of jokes, and he was great. But he killed himself. He got lost, man. You can't get lost. You got to really focus on let's go back up to that quote. I think that this is the one we're going to do. The struggle ends where the gratitude begins. If Robin Williams would have seen himself like the world saw him, Shit, man. If you would see yourself like God sees you, you'd be really happy. But some of us are just trying to see the world like we want to see the world. I choose to see the world like God wants to see the world. I choose to see my customers with that grateful, warm spirit. I choose to see my kids like that. You know, my kids aren't always the best kids. They're running around crazy. I got a 7-year-old and a 6-month-old, but I walk over to clean this little 6-month-old poopy little diaper, and I'm like, man, this is amazing that I get to actually clean this little diaper, that I actually have this little kid. And by the way, guys, I was so anti-diaper. My family used to make fun of me because they're like, he'll never change a diaper. There's no way. There's no way. And I was like, there's no way. Guys, I ain't never picked up dog poo. I throw up walking by dog poo. I'm like, I sure the hell ain't cleaning up no human poo, okay? But when I got this little baby, something was different. And then I'm like, man, gosh, man, like, he's growing every day, every day. You know, these parents are telling me he's going to grow so fast, you got to be super intentional. You got to be super intentional. And I'm smart enough to learn from their experiences. So you know what I do? I just slow down every day. Pick him up every morning. I talk to him. I clean his diaper, which I didn't like to do up front, but now I'm like, there's one day where I'm not going to be cleaning his diaper. One day he's gonna be like jacked and huge, and he's going to be looking like Sean. And you know, and ain't nobody want to clean Sean's big old diaper. You know, Sean still has little protein farts, and they come out on the car seat on the seat nowadays. You know, every time that dude eats a lot of protein, bro. It's crazy what goes through your system to become that big. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's pooped himself a couple times, guys. Okay. Don't let me get distracted here, but it happens when you're consuming that much protein, all right? But you got to be thinking about what sets fire to your passion. You know, Oprah, what set fire to her passion was the ability to learn, the ability to read. This is an orphan. This is an orphan who became a billionaire. Why? Because she got obsessed with learning. She got obsessed with growing. She got obsessed with visualizing herself as this person, but still being okay with who she is right now. Picture yourself looking at your life. Instead of seeing what's missing, you see all that you have. Let me say that again. Picture yourself looking at your life, and instead of seeing what's missing, seeing what you have. Seeing what you have. Seeing your kids, seeing your house, seeing that you have water, seeing that you have time, seeing that you're here. Okay? Picture yourself looking at your life, instead of seeing what's missing, seeing what you have. The talents, the opportunities, the people who support you, the gratitude that fills you makes you have unstoppable energy. People always ask me, Ian, how do you have this energy? I'm like, man, how do you not? I just feel like I've got like the power of God behind me. I feel like I've got the power of my gratitude behind me. I've been doing gratitude for 10 years, man. I really take joy in the little moments. I really take joy that I get to do this today. I used to drive 100 miles an hour to the dealership, like fast, dude. I'd be on Facebook Live like, guys, I'm driving 100 miles an hour down the freeway because I'm freaking so excited to get to work. And I was always that way. Why? Because I came from a place where, dude, if you could make $100,000, you were rich. I'm making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, and I'm like, oh my God, man, this is the best opportunity ever. I get to talk to people. You're kidding me. I get to go talk to these people, serve them at a high level. They come in and buy. They go tell their friends come in and buy. What could be better than that? And then there's the guy that's sitting next to me, and he's like, I only make $40,000 a year, and this job sucks, and everybody treats me miserable. Wah, 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 wah. Shut up, dude. You're a victim. I'm a victor. You're a victim. It's a mentality. And and he's looking around, and he's finding every problem that's wrong versus the opportunity he has, versus the time that he has, versus there's going to be 100, there's probably going to be 1,000 people that died at May, a million people. I don't know all the stats, but people are going to die today, and you got a job, and you're in a business, and you can create whatever life you want. You can choose whatever attitude you want, and you choose to be a bitch. That's kind of crazy to me. I just never made choices like that. I'm like, I'm just going to choose to see goodness. Honestly, I don't really like to choose to see problems. I'm a very critical kind of person on processes and systems and things. Okay? So me and my brother have a rule. When we walk into a restaurant, we can't critique them. Okay? Because me and my brother eat together like every day. And we'll walk into Subway and they'll be like, they should do this, we don't like this, we don't like this. And we start just tearing it down. And honestly, we can't change that shit anyways. So you know what we do? We go find the good in people. We go find the good. We go into a restaurant even when they're doing a bad job, and we tell them how good of a job they're doing. Why? Because if I give that, it comes back. And that's number 5. Multiply your gratitude to give back. When I go somewhere, if I give somebody this energy, it always comes back to me. It always comes back to me because immediately when I do that, I can see the look in their eyes that they needed it. And then it comes back to me, and then I go into my sales or in my job or in whatever I'm doing, and I feel great, man. You know, I feel great. When I get on these Zooms with you guys, I see a bunch of people that want to learn, want to grow, want to attack, want to be better. So it just makes me want to give more and more and more and more and more. The more you give, the more you'll receive. Truly. Isn't that like the golden rule or some shit? But people don't understand that. The more you give to anything, the more you receive. Remember, guys, on our sales training, we're talking about we're not in sales, we're in relationship building. Well, if you don't give all you got to these relationships like you were your wife, your kids, and everything, how is your company going to grow? How are your sales going to grow? How are your salespeople going to grow? How? The ultimate expression of gratitude is giving back. The ultimate expression of gratitude is giving back. When you serve others, you deepen your sense of appreciation, and it creates a ripple effect of positivity in your life. Let me say that again. The ultimate expression of gratitude is giving back. When you serve others, you deepen your sense of appreciation, and it creates a ripple effect of positivity in your life. You guys ever seen negative ass people? We just fired one the other day. He was so negative that nobody wanted to be around him. This guy went, I don't even like to talk about these people. But honestly, this guy just completely tore his life to the ground. He was a 7-figure earner, tore his life to the ground. You know why? Because this dude had the most negative energy, critical of others, never giving back any positive energy. So inside he was just dead. He just became dead. And you can become that way. You know how you don't become that way? You walk into the room and you're like, hey man, you look good today. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, good haircut. Hey, what's up? Hey, you got 5 minutes? Let's go over some stuff about your family. Hey, what's going on with you, man? Hey, let me invite you somewhere. Hey, come out with me. Hey, let's do something together. You know, the more you give to people, the more you really truly receive. Tony Robbins grew up in a household, and you guys know Tony Robbins, right? He's one of our mentors. I'm on the way down to Tony's house in 2 months. I can't wait, man. I've watched this guy for years. And now I get to go to his house. Why? Because we just been giving back to the world. And if you just give. There was a time where we didn't even have revenue. We didn't even know what we were doing. We were doing 10 Zooms a day. I'd have to go sleep in the car 3 times a day because my energy, I was giving so much energy to every Zoom. I'd go sleep in the car, come back, and I just give energy and fire. And you could log on at any time and you could catch me on a Zoom, except for my nap times. But it made me feel on fire. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was doing something where I was giving back to people even at a higher level. Now, when my customers came in, I was the guy that just gave to them and showed them, you cannot out-care me. You cannot outlove customers more than me. You can't. It's physically impossible. That's my belief. See how I'm so certain in that? Because I have evidence because of what I've done in the market that no matter who you are, you can't unconvince me that you can beat me. You can't unconvince me that I'll outcare my customers. And you can't unconvince me that I don't have the most belief in the world. Because I really believe this. And it doesn't matter if it's the truth. It's my truth. You can convince yourself of the bad things and you can convince yourself of the good things. It's your choice. I'm just choosing to see things this way. I've seen the world this way and I don't like it. That guy sees the world this way and and he doesn't have to. If he saw the world this way, he'd continue to go up. You got to choose the way you see the world. Tony Robbins grew up in a household where a stranger once brought food to his family when they had nothing. This guy knocked on his door and he said, hey man, we're in the neighborhood, we're at the local church. It was Thanksgiving. Tony's family didn't have money for a turkey. You guys know what happened? You guys heard the story? His dad said, hey, who's that at the door? His dad came over. He's a big old dude. And he's like, well, hey, what do you want? The guy's like, hey, I want to give you guys a turkey. He went to slam the door in the guy's face. The guy put his foot in front of the door. And he said, sir, listen, man, I know this can be kind of embarrassing. Somebody said that you guys needed this turkey. I brought this food for you guys. And the guy wanted to beat, Tony Robbins' dad wanted to beat the guy's ass. And Tony and his family were like, Dad, we're really hungry. And the dad said, fine, get the turkey. That act of giving back changed Tony's life. Tony has now fed billions of families. because that one act of kindness he was able to harness and make part of his core. The way that my grandfather walked into rooms, the way that my grandfather gave back to the community, the way that my grandfather gave back to people, a lot of the things that I learned were caught, not taught. And then over time, I was able to be taught things, but I caught a lot of things from him. His charisma, the way that he was alive, the way that he had fun, the way that he worked with his neighbors and his family and his friends, the way that he was grateful, the way that he went through these hard times and made them look easy. Man, he was probably broken, crying in rooms, upset. Man, he lost 2 kids. Is that hard? I couldn't imagine. But you know what I caught from him? You keep going. And he found a way to stay close to God. He's found a way to stay grateful. Imagine someone reaching out to you right now. Imagine someone reaching out to you when you need it most. When you need it most. Do you ever forget those people? Nah, man. I know the people that have reached back when I was struggling my hardest, and I know who was there. I get texts from people that maybe I called 3 years ago or 4 years ago or 2 years ago, and maybe we haven't talked in a while, but there was that one time where they needed me and I was there. Show up for people. Show up for people. Make people feel like you're that person. Be an impactor, man. You don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be a motivational speaker. You could just be the person that literally takes this shit so seriously that you're ready to help everybody out. But I want you to imagine someone reaching out to you when you needed it the most. Now picture yourself doing the same for others. The joy you feel as you give back is a reflection of your gratitude you carry within you. The joy you feel as you give back is a reflection of gratitude you carry within you. Every time you help someone, you ignite a spark that keeps your fire burning even brighter. That guy I was talking about, he started to become money focused. And when you become money focused and not joy and people focused and God focused, in my opinion, the devil has a way that he can just come in and tear you apart through greed. He can make you miserable through greed. He can make you ungrateful through greed. He can make you confused. So there's a quote here. Tony took that. He took that of helping other people, and that became his life. Doesn't matter if you're a salesperson. Doesn't matter if you're an owner. Your number one. I was talking to this plumbing company or HVAC company I was telling you guys about that I got carried away with earlier. And they started the meeting and it gave me goosebumps. He said, Ian, I don't know what this costs. You know, I'm grateful we got you. I know you're Andy's right-hand guy, and I know that this, you know, your team told me you don't take a lot of these meetings, so I'm grateful. I want to tell you my number one intention. I don't care what this thing costs. I'll spend whatever, but you know what I want? I want my people to be the best. I want my people to impact our community. You're an HVAC company, bro. And you know what he's like? I just want my people to be good people. I want my people to kill the demons that they got. I know my people are dealing with things. And I'm like, damn, dude. If only every leader in the world could hear this guy talk. Because most people, when they call me, they start talking about bottom line, and I tune out and I hang up the call. I got a bad review the other day because this guy talked all about money, and I said, hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you. And he's like, don't you want to pitch me? And I was like, no, thank you. Later. And I left the call. Why? Because all he talked about was money. Super turnoff to me, man. Because honestly, if you don't make more money, you're going to cancel. And we're after changing people. I'm not after making more money. Money is a byproduct of building great people. And so if you're a leader that's only trying to make more money, it's funny, you never make more money. But if you're a leader that's trying to build great people, you always make more money. It's a byproduct. So when I get companies that are only interested in making more money, I leave the Zoom immediately. Under no circumstances am I staying. I don't care if you're going to pay me $1 billion. I don't really want it because I don't want my core to be focused in that manner. Do you understand? So gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but it's the parent of all others. To live a life on fire, you have to live a life that's grounded in gratitude. To live a life on fire, you have to live a life that's grounded in gratitude, to see beauty in every experience, to transform adversity into fuel, and to passionately pursue your purpose. Each day becomes a new opportunity to give thanks and to give back. Creating a life that not only burns bright, but also lights the way for others. That's true gratitude. Now listen, you might not inspire 1,000 people online right now, But you staying on the mission, you becoming a better version of you, you staying grounded in the moment, you're eventually going to inspire a lot of people. You're eventually going to inspire the people that are closest to you. You're going to eventually inspire maybe somebody you don't even know. Okay? But let me read that again. To live a life on fire, grounded in gratitude. This is the key, man. This is the key. To live a life on fire, you got to be grounded in gratitude. It's to see the beauty in every experience, to transform adversity into fuel. Guys, are we going to experience adversity? Every one of you raised your hand and said you had somebody die recently. Every one of you raised your hand and said you've had somebody that I could see the emotion when I started to talk about that. Okay? Greg just lost his mom. Do you guys know that? Okay? Hard moment for Greg. But Greg has to choose what he's going to see. And it's going to be hard. Guys, is life going to be a little hard? It's going to be freaking challenging, man. But also, you know what we have to do? We have to give thanks to God for those challenges. Because those challenges that you're getting, man, if you're not grateful for them and if you're like just bitter about them, you become a bitter, cynical, nasty, dark human. You become an internet troll, a TikTok internet troll. That's who you become. God puts you as a TikTok internet troll, and then you're just there like, fuck this guy, and then your family hates you, but you hate other people, and you didn't even have to be that guy. And then you're like, why am I like this? Dude, listen, man. If you could go and understand that every adversity should be your fuel. No matter what's happened to you, man. No matter what has happened to you. I grew up without my dad, and my whole life I was relatively bitter about it. I was relatively upset about it. Why don't I got a dad that comes to the basketball games? Why don't I got a dad that's at, when I see, dads standing at the playground playing with their sons? Why don't I got that, man? Why don't I got that? And it was really hard for me growing up. But it became the greatest lesson for me. Probably the greatest lesson for me. Because now I get the chance to be the best dad ever. Also, I get the chance to forgive. I get the chance to move on. I get the chance to see whatever I want to see in that moment. I get the chance for it to shape me. I get the chance for it to guide me. I get the chance to not do certain things that I saw, that I experienced. Some of the things that you experience as a child, you don't want your kids to go through growing up. So you've been through some things that actually elevate you to become the person that you are. A lot of the life experiences you have, you're able to help people go through. So today, man, you got to choose what you're going to see, man. You get to see mountains and palm trees. I'm driving to work today, and I see these mountains and palm trees. And I've driven this road 1,000 times. 1,000 times. Okay? 2 years ago, I moved out of Fountain Hills, where we're at, and it's the most beautiful place ever. And I was like, it's slow, and I was like, man, there ain't nothing going on up here, it's not that, whatever. And I moved down to another area. And for 2 years, I honestly didn't even like Fountain Hills. I don't know why. I just didn't see what I saw when I first got here. Anybody ever been to the Lion's Den? How beautiful it is around the Lion's Den? You're like, damn, this place is everything. My negative ass started thinking that it was like, whatever. I saw something different. And I was driving to work one day, and I'm like, it's so beautiful that I got my team up here. It's so beautiful that it's a small town. It's so beautiful that it's quiet. It's so beautiful that there's palm trees. It's so beautiful. I walk outside right now, and I just feel grateful to walk outside and be able to have that wind on my face. But for a year or two, I was like, man, I don't even like Fountain Hills, man. I'm gonna have my office down here, up in Scottsdale, up in this and that. I moved my house immediately. I had 2 houses. I said, man, I'm literally just moving back. And on my road to work every day, I'm grateful for that view. I'm grateful for that drive. I'm grateful for that baby. A lot of us, this isn't your life, but a lot of us, we're at different seasons of our life. I worked for 10 years. Pretty much every day we had Sundays off. I never took a Saturday off in my career. And I'm not telling you that needs to be you. I just always never wanted to lose ground. And when I became really good at what I did, it honestly wasn't about making more money. It was about just beating everybody. It really was to me. I was like, hey man, I worked really hard for 2 years to get up here. Now all these guys are coming for me. I am not going to retreat and let anybody win. I see a lot of people that can win for a year or two. I wanted to win for a decade. So that was something that internally I have this competitive core that I will not lose. I will not lose. And if I start to feel like I'm giving up ground, it's not good for me. So I know me. I have a sense of awareness about me And I actually feel a lot of gratitude when I'm working really hard. Like when I'm working really hard. So I didn't take a Saturday off. I didn't really know what that was. I see a lot of people taking them off nowadays, and like I never got to experience that. So now in this life that I'm in, for 10 years, I envisioned having a baby when I was 30 years old. I envisioned having some of these things. Like I envisioned them. And I missed out on, like, I could have already had a kid. I could have already done a lot of these things. And honestly, it maybe not have been the best mindset, but I envisioned what my life would look like. I literally said I'm going to have a baby at 34 years old. I told my mom that. I said I'm going to be a little late to the party, but I'm going to be able to take them to school every day. I'm going to be able to do these things. I'm going to be able to go to every basketball game. I'm going to be able to do these things because that's what I want. I didn't care what anybody else wanted. I said that's what I want. And I stayed really true to it. And now I have that. Like, my biggest gratitude is I can take my kids to school anytime I want. I can show up to work whenever I want. I can do whatever I want. I don't have a boss. I can do whatever I want. Nobody telling me what to do. That's what I want. Okay? But I had to work for 10 years to get it. Some of you want to be your own boss, but you got to go through some things for a long time. You have to understand some things for a long time. You have to go through some seasons of some things for a long time. Even as I was outworking a lot of people and I was missing out on like the fun things, you know what I was grateful for? That I had the mentality of this. I'm grateful that, you know, like us together, we are an obsessed group of people that want to be the best versions of ourselves. Who wants to be the best version of themselves? Okay, can we all agree that we're all going to do it a little bit different of a way? My way not be your way may not be my way, but we all want to be somebody, right? Okay, so we should have gratitude that we all want to be somebody. We should have gratitude we have this community. Okay? Like, you know, like Connie is different than Carson. Carson's like 18 years old, Connie is like 40, and Connie's 71. Come on, Connie! Woo! I know, Connie's fired up. She's like, when I met her, I like almost wanted to cry, man. Like, because I lost my grandma like a couple years ago. And my grandma looks like she looked like Connie. Like when I was holding her, my grandma had this really warm spirit. Like when you see her, you just feel the gratitude in my grandma. You know what I mean? And when I brought her on stage, I just felt like I just felt that same gratitude my grandma had. My grandparents were the most grateful people I've ever met. And I just felt that in little Connie. I just wanted to hold her and kiss her and hug her and love her. But she also wants to hit another level. Look, she's here. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? Give Connie a round of applause. Come on, how cool is that, dude? Like, she's like, I'm 71, I'm just getting started, baby. Let's go. I walked her over to Jackie, remember Connie? And Jackie's like, yeah. Oh my God. She's like, Ian, do you feel that? And I was like, and me and Jackie were having we kind of communicate. We know each other really well. When you know like your best friend well, and you're like having a communication with them, but you're not really saying anything. And it was like a special moment. That's the moment we had with Connie. Whether Connie knows it or not, we all felt that. And then she walked off, and I was like, wow, that little lady's special, man. Like, that's so cool, man. I was like, oh, man, this is the greatest job ever that we get to, talk to Connie, right? So, we can all do things differently. My goal today was just encourage you to have that gratitude in the moment. You know, you don't have to, they said a wise man seeks happiness in the distance. Or a fool seeks happiness in the distance. A wise man grows it right underneath his feet. A wise man seeks happiness. A fool seeks happiness in the distance. A wise man seeks happiness under his feet. Everything you have right now. Just take really good care of it. Have really fun. Have a great time building it. And then just know, over a little period of time, if you continue to keep these habits and take care of these things, it's funny. God has a funny way of rewarding you, right, Connie? She's probably been rewarded in some amazing ways in 70 years. 70 years, she's learned some amazing things. We need to have a Connie day. We're going to have a Connie coaching day. And we're just going to hear from Connie. I love to hear people's experiences, especially, all of you guys have some really unique experiences. Hey, can I encourage you guys something, and we'll end it here? Could we maybe share some of our experiences? Maybe something that you're grateful today in the community. Maybe something that you beat. Maybe something you're embarrassed of that you conquered. Maybe something like my grandfather that lost a child and then had to go do something different. Maybe, Greg, you lost your mom and some things that you're going through right now, but you're coming out on the other side of. Guys, everything is temporary and nothing lasts forever. Everything is temporary and nothing lasts forever. If you're in summer right now, you're eventually going to go through a winter. If you're in winter right now, you're eventually going to go through a summer. Okay? So we still got to be grateful for the winter. We still got to understand that's how life works. And then we also have to have hope for the future. And that's part of gratitude. So, guys, I'm thankful for you guys. I get a lot of hope from this community. I get a lot of energy from this community. I get a lot of, this community just fires me up. And I appreciate you guys that really take part in there. If you guys could do one thing for me, just share something maybe in either community. Just something that, you're beating, that you went through, a gratitude experience, something that you're doing, something that you're excited about. And that way we can learn from each other, because the power is not us, the power is in all of us. So thank you guys. Let's make it a great day. Let's write down 3 things right now that you're grateful for. I'm gonna write down 3 things. I'm grateful that today I just had that sun on my face. I'm grateful that I have this deep belief in God. That's what I'm grateful for. I believe in Jesus so much. I believe in God. I got this. I feel it. I feel that power. I feel what they're telling me. I feel called to do something. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I got an obsessed mindset that I want to be somebody. I see some people that they're losing that. I don't want to lose that, God. Thank you for giving me that. Thank you for building me a certain way. Thank you for telling me that everything's possible. Thank you for the struggles. Thank you for letting me face those demons. Thank you for letting me conquer those things. Thank you for the bad relationships. Thank you for the good ones. Thank you for the challenges. I'm thankful for all of it. I just know all of it is how you make a good freaking pizza. Okay? I know that. I know that. I feel that. For a long time, I didn't know that. For a long time, I thought it should be perfect. I now know that it shouldn't be perfect. I know that everything that you're doing is for a reason in my life. That's what I'm grateful for. Maybe you're grateful for the same thing, but that's what I feel today. So thank you, Jesus. I'm grateful for you. That's what I'm grateful for. You guys go be grateful. Bring something good into your life today, and let's kill